We are all chasing something greater. It's not quantifiable. It's not ubiquitous. It's not the same for every person. It's success. And the cold, hard truth is, only some people have it in them to succeed. Do you? Well, what is success? The answer is, What Success Upturn. And we're bringing all the inspiration of What Success Upturn to you from those who have pushed relentlessly against all odds, beaten the competition, and won. Success Upturn reveals the other side of winning, the grueling long nights that end in failure, forcing you to get back up again. The sacrifices of family, friends, and faith, resulting in tears, rejection, and loss. We take an intense look at the financial stress following your own path can cause, and the do-or-die defining moments where those who don't have it in them give up, and those that do break through and enter a level of success where their faith, their family, and their quality of life is what they dreamed it would be, and more. In the end, it's your spirit that has the willpower and energy needed to break through the pain of brain-racking work, and it's your spirit that's rejuvenated and rewarded the moment your success comes rolling in. If you want to share your story and share your Success Upturn history, go online to successupturn.com or call 713-530-2455 to be part of the Success Upturn podcast today.
Good morning, everybody. We are here at Success Upturn, and today we have an incredible, remarkable person that have run up before for Congress as well. At his young age and a lot of wisdom, Mr. Ivan Sanchez, president for the Houston Millennials and commercial lender for Gold West Group. How are you, Ivan?
I'm great this morning. I love your energy. I'm here with Upturn Success or Success Upturn, ready to share my story. How can we empower the community, talk business, talk political strategy, talk family, talk Latinos, whatever it is. We're here to just share some success. How about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Ivan, introduce yourself and tell us about what's important for you when you're born, when you came to, there's two things that we don't control in life. We don't control when we're born. We don't control when we die. We just don't know that.
And taxes.
Yeah, and taxes. Amen.
There you go.
That's for sure. But we control to vote, so please vote. Now, that said, tell us a little bit more who you are and about yourself and what do you do now?
Okay, well, my name is Ivan Sanchez. I am a commercial lender with Gold Quest Group. It is a fully licensed, full-service residential, commercial, and heavy industrial direct lender, broker, and syndications firm. We've been around the block for about 23 years.
It's a family business, right?
It's a family business, and I'll tell a little story about an immigrant mother. I came here with 3 kids. That inspired the 3 kids. She unfortunately passed away about 2 months after my high school graduation. But that was, I'll tell that story in a bit. That's what woke the bittersweet in me and the beast in me.
Makes you stronger.
But we basically, for Gold Quest, we have all the government programs, SBA 504 and A7. We have conventional competitive bank rate financing as well. CMBS and hard money for, anything that's attached to real property. For a purchase, a refinance, a cash out, a rehab, a construction, or development, we can do it ground up.
So you do conforming lending?
That as well.
And non-conforming lending.
Correct.
And
Correct.
commercial?
Correct.
Conforming will be FHA, VA, USDA,
Correct.
so to speak.
Correct.
And
I
then
focus on the commercial side, but we
Right.
do have an entire team that does
Department.
residential as
Yeah,
well.
you're well known. Before COVID, you used to have a social event every second Tuesday or every Tuesday.
Well, it was called Houston. It is called
It is,
Houston Millennials.
because we are coming back. This is Houston, Texas.
Yeah,
we're
no,
strong.
I'll actually announce we just announced another event. As you all know, what the COVID stopped all the social events. You can't network. Basically, we have our offices at home now, right? I have 3 computers set up at my house and doing all the conferences from there now. But Houston Millennials is a social purpose organization that's mission is to advance and promote millennial advancement in the private, public, and nonprofit sectors. And so that's a very broad view. So how do we do this? We do this through 6 committees, which is civic engagement. We run Young People for Office. In 2017, we ran 36 individuals for office. We have business committee. We do business seminars, how to start how to do a business plan, how to file your taxes. We have your outreach committee every second Saturday of every month. We feed about 320 homeless. We actually buy the steaks or pasta or whatever it is. Then there's more committees. The communications committee, well, what do? Just send blast emails and social media, this and that. And don't punish me too much if I don't remember the rest of the committees. Fitness committee.
That's okay. How much you can carry in
It's
your
been
brain.
a while, but the fun one is where the networking committee, the membership
Right.
committee, and the ones everybody talks about, where we host Millennials After Dark professional networking. We usually do it like at the Hilton rooftop or a very fun places.
I've been in one of those. and-
Where thousands of young professionals come out. And, all of this started when I worked for Congress. I was, don't worry, it's not all that fancy. I was carrying my boss's purse 24/7.
I saw the picture, but I believe so you were in the train or in the metro when you were 22, and you were just wiped out working,
Yeah. I was that was for President Obama's inauguration.
right?
And I was
You were
up all
dead,
night.
like-
I was
like homeless.
I was leading a group of like 20 students, and I just passed out in the train.
Somebody
going
took a
towards-
selfie for you.
Yeah, someone took a selfie or someone took a picture of me. But the organization, imagine, I was the only Latino and by far the youngest member in the staff of this congressional office under the office of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. And what I noticed is that a lot of these politicians go up to the podium and preach youth empowerment. They preach the whole education and we have to mentor them. But as a personally being really inside politics and really trying, I didn't feel like they were reaching out to me. Plus this entire stigma of millennials are lazy and entitled and unexperienced. What we lack in experience, we make up in drive and ideas. We're the next wave. The biggest transfer of power and money is going on right now. So what I thought, I was meeting so many outstanding young people. I'm talking about like Lina Hidalgo, and then there's just outstanding PhD, young 23-year-olds and all that. And I got them together, activists, lawyers, doctors, student presidents. And I told them, hey, how about we make a hub where there can be, I don't like to say this anymore, but like a safe space for millennials so we can congregate, network, and see what we need from each other. And it blew up to a massive organization for about 4,600 members.
Yes, I'm a member of those. I follow FB. You can find him on Facebook. Just type on the search bar Houston Millenniums, and it's very active. Has tons of professionals for many industries. I highly recommend you to attend to the event. However, you have to talk and you have to walk the floor. Just because you show up and pay a ticket to go in, or even you go with a free version, nothing happens if you don't interact with others and you're not consistent. Because remember, success has nothing to do with motivation. Has to do with commitment, what is self-love and discipline, and the small acts that you do daily, in and out, positive acts.
In and out.
Even if you don't feel like it, you have to go. Like I go working out every day, and I mentioned this before, and sometimes I don't feel like it. I still go. Sometimes I get to the gym and I look at the time and it's time to go home, but I feel accomplished because I show up, even if I didn't work out. Then I meditate and say, you know what? I show up. Something happened that I have to make U-turn, but don't be hard on myself.
Yeah.
Because if you stay in bed, then you build a new habit.
Ooh.
And if you don't want problems, then stay in bed.
When you stay in bed, you're not just staying stagnant. You're getting passed by.
That's right. You get stuck on there's two worlds. There is the uncertain world and the certain world. The certain world, your brain is trained to be in the certain world because it pretty much is a self-mechanism of defense that it won't hurt you. They don't know if somebody's putting a gun in your head or it's just you're not passing a test or you're not taking the risk versus uncertain world. Uncertain world, you do not know the outcome. Therefore, you take action and means that you start living. Do not be afraid about die or death. Be afraid about being alive and not living enough every day.
Yeah, that's right. That's
So
right.
you have to take risk.
Calculated, educated risk.
Absolutely.
But without risk, there's no possibility for you to outgrow yourself, right? A lot of people like to stay in their comfort zone, right? This is your comfort zone is like a little bubble. In
Right.
here is TV, just couch, your couch,
Right.
Your high school friends, all that different things. So how do you get out of your comfort zone, right? Is doing the things that makes your hands sweaty.
Right.
The things that you make you doubt yourself. The things that, for example, you invited me to a radio show. We weren't even knowing what we were going to talk about mostly, right? But I have to get out of my comfort zone and challenge myself to get out and talk. So how do you get out of your comfort zone is public speaking. It is networking. And just when you're actually practicing these things, your bubble's actually getting bigger and bigger and bigger to a point that you get confident for yourself, right? How is a 32-year-old individual, a 31 year, at the time I was 31, I ran for the United
I
States
thought you were in the 20s still.
Congress. No,
You look so young, man.
Hey, I got that baby face. And I'll tell a little story not about my baby face, but about how I went into mortgage, then I left mortgage, I went into politics, then I was Houston Millennials, and now I'm back.
Man, you should have no hair.
Hey, man, come
for
on.
those,
Don't be,
you're like me, man.
hey,
You
come
should-
on, don't be jinxing me, man. I'm working on that one. But right, I imagine debating a Harvard attorney, a
I heard
Goldman
that.
Sachs.
You love debate.
I debated a Harvard attorney, a Goldman Sachs Golden Boy Harvard attorney as well, a national activist, a guy that's ran for Congress 3 times, and some guy that wouldn't stop knocking on doors. Imagine all 7 of us with this massive crowd, right? And I was the one that's from like locally. I went to the University of Houston downtown.
The underground.
Yeah, so it was like I was the youngest by far with a puppy face, but I said, look, I'm the youngest advisor to Mayor Sylvester Turner. I worked in Congress 6 years. I have 6 leadership institutes under me. I'm currently in Leadership Houston right now. I have more than 15,000 volunteer hours. I have all this. And I remember during these debates, the only thing my opponents would say is like, you have no business experience.
Really?
Well, I did a little bit of mortgages when I was 18, 19, but if you think I have a puppy face now, imagine when I was 18 and 19.
Never underestimate.
So that didn't happen. But just to briefly say, I didn't pull off the congressional run, or I would be in Washington
But
D.C.
go
right
back
now.
to that time of debating. Tell us, how do you felt? Like,
Oh my gosh!
how is it? Okay, I'm not going to say how I felt because the interview is about you. How do you felt inside?
Well, it's one of those times that I was preparing all day,
Right?
but you're still walking into this massive church with like 700 people, and they're watching your every move.
Right?
And
it's different when you're on
you're
the other
kind
side,
of breaking
right?
down inside and be like, oh my God, look at all these people looking at every move. But you have to walk in with your chest out, smiling, shaking every single hand, trying to share my story. Why is it that I ran for office? Where do I come from? What is it? So my point was, at that debate to not read scripts, not really read bullet points, but be yourself.
Passion.
And it was such amazing feeling because that was my first debate. Like, they've been debating, but I filed to run for office last. So all of a sudden I come and they all start attacking me because all of a sudden there's the only minority in the run that is really upbeat about life, that I have my not only the political experience, but I'm already doing it through organizations, that I had new energy. I remember at another debate at a rice. This is I don't want to bore everybody, but at a rice debate, and this was at rice, and we were all lined up again, and then they asked the marijuana question, and Congressional District 7 is George H.W. Bush's original district before he became president. Back then was 90% white. I'm a political scientist, and now it's 65% minority. So I knew that, hey, maybe the Anglos are going to split their vote, and I pick up the black, Muslim, and Latinos, and I maybe can pick up. The mistake there was that nobody votes in the primary.
Right.
I mean, Latinos, my family didn't even know what a primary was, right? So I was short on that. But on this debate, is the beautiful little things that no matter who you are, you can make a difference. They asked, what do you think about marijuana? Legalized, decriminalized, or leave it as is? Remember down the road. Keep it as is. Keep it as is. Keep it as is. Then this person next to me was the national activist. She said decriminalize. But then you see the only brown boy in the group, because I understand mass incarceration. I understand a lot of things that are going in the government. I said, full legalization. The crowd went wild. A bunch of young people were like,
right.
Yay!
Absolutely.
It's time.
I agree.
It's time with that. But seeing the other candidates throughout time change their stands on it, from the entire row saying leave it as is, criminalize it, to all of a sudden, all of them say
comfort zone, uncertainty. That's it.
And they were saying, after that debate, they were saying decriminalize. So I wonder how much impact I had on these people. They're amazing people. That district hasn't been even Democrat. I'm a Democrat. Please don't hate me.
It's all right. We're a free country.
Remember, I'm a commercial lender too, and I get grilled all the time at my office. But I wonder what impact I had on these people. These people, like I said, the district hasn't been Democrat since 1967. And I knew that the Beto hype, the presidential pendulum swing, and straight ticket voting, whoever was going to be the nominee was going to be the next congressman. Why do you think Lina Hidalgo, a 27-year-old immigrant from Colombia, just graduated? She ran against their biggest... Like, people thought what I did was ridiculous, but that was just so big. I remember, like, I'm not even going to say how many Democratic organizations threw her under the bus, but I knew those three things. If you get the nomination, you're in. That's how Dylan Osborne got in. That's how Black Girl Magic came in. Those 19 black judges got in. That's how Lina Hidalgo. That's how I was supposed to win in. But there were 7 people in the primary in which I fell short. But you know what? When one door closes, another
door opens. And success is about a process. Failures are just steps. If you want nothing to happen, then do nothing. You just have to, you fell on your face, you win or you learn. You never lose. Ask yourself always this question. Instead of kill yourself, not literally, instead of kill yourself, ask yourself what you have learned when something doesn't go your way. And like it or not like it, there's going to be some things that you suck about it. So you're not going to get it right. So focus on your strengths and the things.
Focus on your strengths.
And the rest.
Focus.
Is below your pay grade, your hourly rate. Delegate it.
Yeah.
Because you're not good at it.
Yeah.
Because no one is good at it.
It's a team. It's a team effort. Even what I'm doing right now in commercial lending, right? I mean, I get calls for a $3 million, $6 million construction. I can handle that, right? Land, soft costs, hard costs equals total project cost. If you have equity in the land, all that. But then it's a team effort. My team has been there for 30 years plus, right? And so when I get a call for to construct 700 homes plus a water park, think that's a little bit above my pay grade. That is a I don't know about
Master plan community.
It was a freaking master plan community, right?
Yeah.
So you have to surround with people, like they say, if you're the smartest man in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? So one of the main things I learned is be very careful who you let in your immediate circle.
Right.
Like it or not, you're gonna get their mañas, their behaviors, just little sayings, how you laugh, the little things. I mean, you really do pick up. So whether it's in Houston Millennials, I love to surround myself with the people of Houston Millennials. We got lawyers, we got super marketers, we got people with their own businesses. Or if it's in politics, people that are already, I have a lot of mentors that are in elected office. I want to know how you think. Why are you running? Some should be there, some others shouldn't be there, right? Or in business, you have to hang out with people, like they say, at the end of the day, your network equals your net worth.
Yep. I picked up that line long time ago. And if you are looking for commercial lending, do not hesitate it twice. Call Ivan at 281-405-1427. Let me repeat it back again. 281-407-1425. Or you can go to goldquestgroup.com. You can subscribe to our channel in YouTube, Success Upturn. Just look for it. Or go to fb.com/Success Upturn. And of course, download our podcast in Apple, Spotify, Google, and Stitcher. So once again, go and look for Ivan at goldquestgroup.com, or you can call him at 281-405-1425. Ivan, you mentioned a lot of things that are very appealing, and a lot of people that are listening. And there was this commander. His name was Hernan Cortez. He came from Spain, true story. And when Spain invaded Mexico, they landed in Veracruz. And with about the boats, right? And the first three words that he said, burn the boats. No retreat. That was his message. Burn the boats.
The art of war.
Yes. There's no comeback. Of course they won. Burn the boats. So you're listening to this podcast. Be self-aware. The first step to find yourself is define who you are not. Do not look at the mirror and say how pretty you are, how good you are, I'm great. Motivation is meaningless. Start by being real and defining who are you not, what you don't stand by, and stand by that. And that's the first step to finding Nemo or finding yourself, so to speak.
And it's difficult.
It is difficult.
It's difficult. For a while, I didn't know who I was, and I was all over the place.
Took me 40 years, 41, actually 42 years. I'm 43.
You're that young?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You got on,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a process, and it's a continued process to go from okay or good to exceptional.
I mean, I didn't know who I really started to be until I was about 21, 22.
Right.
I was even a nightclub promoter.
Right.
When I was...
you were hustling.
From
right
16, I realized I was good at marketing, and I saw that there was this thing called social media, MySpace back in the day.
Oh, yeah, I remember MySpace.
That it turned into Facebook. And well, I mean... You know, my parents brought me to the United States through no fault of my own. I'm like a dreamer, but I don't know how exactly. My mother was an attorney in Colombia, my father a geophysicist, and they blew up my mother's office. They kidnapped my dad 4 times, and that's when they said, "Kids, we gotta
Vámonos."
go."
Yep.
They told me we're gonna go see, Disney World and all these things, and all I heard is just Disney World. Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. I was like 6 years old. I was like, what's going on? Hey, let's go. And we landed. My mom struggled a lot. I saw her cry a lot. She couldn't even get a job at Pizza Hut. Overexperienced, overqualified attorney, not knowing English. So she enrolled at University of Texas School of Law. She came here. That's how we ended up in Texas. Myself, my 2 brothers, Parodi Sanchez and Miguel Sanchez as well. And she went to law school. She graduated. She went to work for Remax and Century 21, and then started her own brokerage, which was Gold Quest Group, which consisted of a real estate and a mortgage company.
Right.
And we're doing, this was out of our garage at the time. She became the president of Colombian Chamber of Commerce. She sat in the board of HAR, all these things that I swear she was my super mama. I mean, I literally could not even see my life without my grandma, and I never thought, that my mom was always going to be there. And I was nightclub promoting, thinking I'm the coolest thing. I have nothing to worry about. Spiky hair, earrings, tan, contacts. My brows were done. I spent my entire checks on when I worked at Kroger's pushing carts or at Godiva selling chocolates just on a brand new.
You told me that one of the events. That you actually one on the night event. You told me about working in Kroger's.
Yeah, I was pushing. There was a little tagline.
Any job is respectable.
Hey, that was every time I see somebody pushing carts or whatnot, I'm like,
I
hey,
put him back in the spot.
Hey, yeah, I'll put him back in the spot. But you have to really feel for people. But then we came here, and all of a sudden, my mama passes away 2 months after my high school graduation. And it left me with this, like I was hyper grieving in this like boys in the hood environment. But unconsciously, I vouched to my mother that I was going to be at least half of who she was. And I remember just from all the Ed Hardy shirts and bedazzling shoes and all that stuff. And I just started like gasping for hair. I wanted to be like her. How do you even portray yourself to be like that? The wonderful thing about the United States is that you can reinvent yourself at any point.
All day long.
Anybody can go Google me and see all the stupid pictures on when I had spiky hair and all that type of stuff.
We all have our story.
Right?
Just keep it real.
It is what it is. And so I started just going to Express and trying to buy more
Doesn't fit me no
button
more.
downs.
It looks like it will fit you.
all these things, and it was extremely difficult to get out of that situation. But that's my first passion, and even though it's not a passion, it really made me. I want to do something with my life. I'm not an attorney, but I told my mother I was gonna go that route, and I know she'll be very proud of the things that I'm doing now.
Absolutely,
even though
amen.
I didn't choose to go that route, but going towards that route again. By this time, I was also doing mortgages, but I started. There was a political science class called Hispanic Politics. I said, okay, what's the best route to go to law school? It's political science. I was like, hey, well, let me just try this. And let me tell you, I was a little bit more conservative back in the day. When I just graduated out of high school, I'm like, look, professor, everybody's equal, okay? Blacks, Latinos,
Right.
Hispanics, Asians, whatever color you want to know, whites, whatever color, we're all equal. And then this professor said, like, for 6 months, it was like he was slapping my face with facts. For example, at the time, we're 44% of the population, but only 4.33% of the local elected officials. Less than 2% of the business leaders, and less than 1% of the nonprofit leaders here in the city of Houston. And for almost half of the population, and we're not even getting breadcrumbs, it just made me, wow, I blew up again. I ran for student president of my university, in which that woke up another sleeping giant inside of me. I could not believe that an immigrant voice could have a voice.
So you let go the person who you were, if I understand this correctly, to become the person who you were born to be. You
can
make
say
a
that.
choice.
You can say that.
Yes.
You can say that.
In order to have change, like if you know that today you're going to pass away or die, will you be doing what you're doing sometimes and say that? And if the answer is no for 10 days, you surely need to make a change. Just try to ask him, whoever's listening today, it's Success Upturn. Go to fb.com/Success Upturn. And of course, if you would like to be interviewing our success story, we host any industry, all industries. Call me at 713-530-2455. That is 713-530-2455. 55. I do prefer a text to many sales calls. Success upturn, call me back, and I definitely will call you back. So going back to you, Ivan. Okay, you just mentioned government. You just mentioned commercial lending. You just mentioned
The nonprofit.
nonprofit. You just mentioned Houston Millennials.
Yeah.
Okay, that day only has 1,440 minutes or 86,400 seconds. People are not worried about that. If I audit anybody day, I'm all about leverage and time. I have it down by seconds.
Wow.
Everything I do in real estate, commercial or residential, or my life in general. And by all means together, I do not have my act together. I'm so imperfect and I love being imperfect. Tell me, how do you manage so many things on a daily fashion?
Well, I think it was an impact that was that someone had in my life that turned me more into a beast than before. So Mama passed away of sheer passion. Then I found that I had a voice, and that was another passion stacked up on top. So I was already on fire. And then I meet my former boss, Sheila Jackson Lee. Look, I understand, love her or hate her. There's no in between, right?
It is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
You can't please everybody.
I mean, exactly, right?
Nobody gets successful and everybody likes you. Only a few.
But this lady, in which you can go to any Democratic magazine or newspaper, and is one of the hardest members of Congress to work for, that I worked 5.5 years for. And though I won't say a lot about a lot of this situation, just to give you an example on the extreme pressure that I was in, on Sunday at 6 p.m., she would call me, or in this specific situation, I was going to Richmond to see a high school friend. And she calls me, it's like, Ivan, tomorrow at 9 in the morning, I need a press conference at the airport with all the Muslim leaders. Call the Muslim leaders, call the airport, call the press. And then at 3 p.m., I have a healthcare event with 300 seats with Senator Rodney Ellis. If one of those seats are empty, that's your MF ass.
Wow.
And so her voice was very piercing, extremely serious. This is a senior member of Congress depending on you to make it.
It's a compliment.
And again, until 3 or 4 in the morning, I was just emailing the leaders. And one of the craziest things that I learned, if you ever need something done now, you call the busiest people you know, and they'll always get it done.
Always.
But that type of experience is how I was able to handle my business, my nonprofit, and my political life. Because even through Houston Millennials, 6 committees, and they all had to have an event every month or every other month. And sometimes we would have 2 events per day. And they would tell me, how did you do it? And I was just freaking start.
One at a time.
All right, event. Who, what, when, where, time, point of contact, boom. All right, we have location, put it up on Facebook. Let's just go. And I was telling my leadership, I'm not much of a manager. I'm more of leading by example. So I would tell my members or my leaders, like, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to do a business event. All right, find the location. Who's going to talk? Oh, I have this person. I also have this person. Let's go. And create it. Oh, this person. Oh, I was thinking about the same day. Is it at the same time? No, it's at different times. Let's go. Who, what, when, where, time. So
delegate.
I started handling myself like that. And something I want to tell the viewers and whoever's listening is be careful with being burned out. There's I know we're young. There's a lot to accomplish, but you also have to be very careful on burning out because I burned out in the past before, and it's not a place that you want to be. Make sure you're taking care of your body, of your health, especially of your health. I'm 33 years old now with chronic sinusitis because of the extreme stress, the lack of diet, and the lack of sleep that I used to have. So I'm still even recovering from that, but truly,
it's not worth it.
It's really
it's
not.
It's a marathon. Now we last 120 years. You know, when Jesus' time, you die at 33. Mm-hmm. That's why we have so many divorces, because we last so long. Now, before it used to be you don't last until you're 30.
Yeah, that's it.
So now
Yeah,
things get complicated.
You're
Now
there.
you're
stuck
into
on that.
80 or 90.
Yeah.
We're not used to.
Yeah, that's another
That's
thing.
so long.
And the thing is that we're in a society that loves immediate gratification.
Right.
That we want things now. We don't want it tomorrow. We don't want it in an hour. And hence, that's why Amazon, for example, is it's the richest company in the world, right? They're delivering a product. It might not be within an hour, but here's a product that you trust the next day. So whenever any entrepreneurs out there or anything like that, always think that your customer wants it now.
And to add that, in a self perspective, I found that success is based on self-discipline. And self-discipline is knowing the difference, what you want now and what you really want. Some people see it today, and that's as far as they're going to get. And some people know the sacrifice they need to make because they really know what they want. And that clarity comes when you really find yourself. Because if you really know what is God planned for you, because it's only good things that can plan for you, even if things are worst, trust me, you will be chilling and just waiting. But because you don't know and doesn't happen in your timeline, doubt is when you doubt the faith things are planned for you. So you have to be very, very mindful. And I'm not here to change anybody's minds. Do not have to agree with me. We're here to share our thoughts. And you can take the positive. You can take it however you want it. We're a free country. But bottom line, success is always going to be based on small activities that you do consistently, positive activities that you do consistently in the daily basis. It's not just one day. It's every day in and out. And it's a non-stop task. You have to be addicted to success.
They say that success is rented, never owned.
That's right. I heard it. I heard it from you.
Day.
I heard it from you. Actually, I heard it from you.
And I heard it from somewhere else. I'm not taking credit.
Yeah.
But it's true. And let me say something, because there's people that just want to go about their day, and there's the people that want to go extraordinary accomplishments or whatnot. But for either of the type of personalities, it is always extremely harder when you start before it gets easy. It's always
absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Before it gets easy. So when I was for example, nightclub promoting in the beginning, I couldn't even bring 2 people, and those were probably my brothers. It got easier throughout time. I started meeting more people, blah, blah. Or student government, or in politics. I remember my first day in the Congresswoman's office. Bro, it was like, okay, so I was in charge of immigration. I was the international and council relations officer. I was all these different driver, all these things. But they were like, all right. They would be like, stop this deportation. And it would be a name and number. What? And it was just, I mean, I made some mistakes along the way as well, do. I'm sure.
We all do.
And then by the time I was leaving office, to sit down with the director of ICE and tell him, like, in his face, you cannot do this to one of my constituents, and feel the power going through you and saying you cannot do this, right? It's a totally, when I was like, what do I do? Who do I call? The ICE? And to convert 5 years later and be telling the ICE director to do something, right? Or again, when I was 18, I was trying to do mortgages. It was so difficult. I was barely getting started. I had the puppy face and all that. Decided to go somewhere else. But then running for Congress, and then that didn't happen. Going back to commercial lending, do you think it was not hard?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
doesn't happen in 30 minutes like on TV.
I created my own privilege in the sense of I have a huge network. I went to thousands of networking events. Not only did I go with thousands of networking events, but sometimes I was networking with a rock star. I would go to the gala of Greater Houston Partnership, which is like 10,000 people or whatnot, and you walk in, who's going to look at me? But then when I walk in with a member of Congress and she has 10 people trying to talk to her, all these other people are trying to talk to me. So I'm very privileged on the circle. And so for anybody listening out there, it's always harder before it gets easy. So commercial real estate, right? I mean, lending. How are you going to talk? It goes from residential when you're talking to the actual guarantor or a future homeowner to talking to an accountant, a lawyer, and the person.
Right.
You better handle your business. So, yes, a bunch of people hung up on my face. A bunch of people called me stupid. A bunch of people, but it was the persistency and consistency.
There you go. We say it at the same time.
I will lend you $1 million, and the same day I'll be marching with Black Lives Matter. I know it's totally different subjects, but now I'm confident enough to I know how to do this. I know my products. I know a hard money versus a conventional versus an SBA on exactly what type of situations. For example, again, by the way, when you're looking for your passion, do not do it for the money.
Exactly.
I mean, money is very important.
Of course it is. It's
Very
necessary.
important. But you're going to be working like a mule for something that doesn't excite you so much so. I was getting paid $27,000 a year for 80-hour work weeks. And I'm losing my hair, just like you mentioned earlier, man.
I'm earlier. I'm ahead of you.
My health, all these different things. So it's just you just have to pace yourself as well. So for those people that are getting started, you're supposed to feel those people getting your MBAs or starting in the new job is the extra mile that you go. What are you learning every single freaking day? When someone hung up on me because I messed up on an interest rate or something like that,
What do you learn?
I learned. I would go to my mentors, the president and vice president. I was like, hey, how much was this? Blah, 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 blah. But from going from absolute no pay, but meeting Yao Ming one day, meeting the Hillary Clinton, then hearing President Obama's voice in the telephone right next to me when my boss was talking to him, all these different things.
And less than 33 years old.
And less than that. Again, it was what an experience, but it was difficult. And from going from zero pay to what I'm doing now is just a different world. And I never really took care of my finances back then, but now I'm a commercial freaking lender. Not only that, I'm my own private investor. I have my 10-unit apartment complex right now. And once my brothers were telling me, because right after Congress, I started my own companies, Tenas Consulting, Digital Marketing and Public Affairs. And they told me, like, what are you doing? Like, we have the equation for financial freedom over here, and you're over there starting up a new company, right? I went into this. I learned the products. I closed some commercial loans. I closed another commercial loan and then another one. Then all of a sudden I have, what am I going to do with all these freedom dividends that I have in my bank account?
Invest it.
Should I buy my dream car? Bam!
No. That's a bad date. You have good dates and bad dates.
So it was like, okay, what do I do? Wait, I'm lending on these rehabs. I understand I'm lending this money to other people. Why not myself? So I started learning about my own products. And just with my 10-unit apartment complex, I borrowed $500,000 with $670. That's how much I came to closing with. Because now I understand how to move digits around, how to package all these things. Yes, I'm under a tremendous amount of pressure, right? But basically for my project, check this out. So there's a project called 70% ARV. You're very familiar with
absolutely.
that. Which means if your after repair value, if you have 70% of your after repair value, if your rehab plus your purchase are less than your 70% of the ARV, you can potentially get 100% finance.
Right.
So This was my third project, going from residential. All of a sudden, I'm going to flip a commercial property. Is $260,000 purchase price, $250,000 rehab budget. That's $510,000 loan request. The ARV is $850,000. 70% of that was $595,000.
They're below.
So
That's right.
I did a seller contribution. The realtor gave me his commission as well. A very good friend of mine. So now, yes, I am under pressure. I was all day yesterday at the permits office, but from getting paid $27,000 a year to potentially making one project about $250,000, I'm just.
Well, it's like working out. When you work out, you start burning, then you grow. There's a few things that I would like to mention. One key word that Ivan has shared with us in every single way, in every single business, organization, for-profit, non-profit, political, is leverage. You leverage all day long in every single angle as much as you can. That means you leverage opportunities. Successful people do not wait or look for opportunities. They create themselves. Right now that we are going over, unfortunately, COVID, there's been so many successful people coming out because they make a choice to recreate themselves and find an opportunity where nobody else saw it. And that's what successful people do, or empresarios, and everybody that works for themselves. And they find opportunities, they create them. You recreate yourself. Another thing that Ivan mentioned is the battles are won between our ears, in your mind. The evil is between your mind, between your ears, not in the battlefield. The first person that you have to talk in is yourself. Whatever comes out of your words is exactly what will happen. So you have to have a lot of self-discipline with yourself. Like you say before, he surrounds himself around people, and then he starts catching his words. Then he starts saying the words, and then things that are not the best environment for him start happening. So you have to be very mindful about who you are around. This is not about good people, bad people. This is about having clarity what you want right now and what you want later. I can tell you this all day long. You want to be successful? Crash and break your cell phone. And you probably will start doing more things. You want to be successful? Turn the TV off and to start sending you a paycheck every single week to determine your own world. And start living the real world and start living life. And of course, I watch Netflix and all these things, but I don't watch news. I don't watch anything. I don't let anybody create my own dreams other than myself. And if I work so hard, first of all, God first, myself first, and I don't mean work. I mean myself. Then family, and then work. That's my value system. Everybody has their own value system, and we are here sharing different success stories. Lastly, Ivan, I know you are very tight on time. Once again, 281-405-1425, goldquestgroup.com. Anybody that's looking to start their own company, doesn't matter. Well, let's say a commercial lending, and also a non-profit organization or network, what advice you give them not to do?
Not to do. Repeat that question.
Okay, let's go first. Commercial lending. Somebody's starting a commercial lending company. What would you advise them not to do? 3 tips.
Let's say to not go to school, to not get educated, right? Not only the obvious mortgage license and then becoming a broker, right? But to truly understand not just what you're selling, but practice what you preach, basically, right? So would you use your own products?
Right.
So if you would answer yourself, I have a friend that was attempting to do this. He actually ran for Congress as well, but he was a broker already, and he wouldn't even use his own products for his own investment. So it's like, why would anybody else use your products when you're not even willing to use them yourself, right? So I mean, that's one of the biggest things, and you can use it as a testimony. I'm doing my own products right now. I mean, I'm doing my own projects with our own products. It's working out excellent. So that's one of the main things. If you want to start in a company, I would say just to be really informed, to use your products and keep going with continuing education. Right? I just graduated from the Rice graduate school, the Jones Graduate School of Business, on the investments and development. And let me tell you, once graduated, it's like I see projects different.
Right, because even though, unless you're
NOI,
incredible
vacancy rates, pro
self-
formas,
Yeah.
IRR, like things that I didn't even know before,
Right.
to
Unless you're
consider in these investments.
unless you're incredible self-motivated, you can take classes online. 199, the whole plan is not. You're still going to have to know about accounting. You're still not going to know about financing. If not, they're going to school you all day long, and your business will go down.
Yeah.
How about creating a network organization? You have 4,000 in Houston Millennials. That's huge, and I only see it growing and growing and growing. I'm an extremely fan of it. I'm very excited about the Houston Millennials.
Thank you.
I show up until the closing, and I will go back as soon as they open.
Unfortunately, that
Mask or no
we're a
mask?
social organization, and mask or no mask, and how do you run a social organization while there's COVID? But you know what? It's you see the president's or the former president, whatever it is, right? I don't even know what it is right now. Trump's
Right.
rallies, just tens of thousands of people packed into it. Or you go to Washington Avenue, all these clubs, they're really packed. But what we need to get out of is this bubble, because if you go to a Republican event, no one's wearing a mask. If you go to a Democratic event, and I promise you, it's like overkill sometimes. Like,
Right.
It feels a little bit awkward. It's like, okay, like, I get it, COVID is real, but there's precautions to do this. So now Houston Millennials is in that. I think we have to lead, and we're gonna lead by example. Right, we're going to host an event on the 28th of January at the
28th of January, the day after my birthday, my 44.
Hey!
I will be there and put in my calendar.
There you
What
go.
time?
This is gonna be from 6 to 9
Put it there right now.
at the Hilton rooftop in the medical center.
Rooftops. I love it. Oh, you put a comment there asking mask or no mask. I say no mask.
Yes, but
I will go mask or no mask.
we're gonna do this as socially responsible. You do have to have a mask on
I wear
hand
it, no worries.
when you come in. There's going to be temperature checks as well, because I know that there's gonna be so many politically charged people coming after me saying this and that, but when they're not, their political might still hasn't even said anything about Washington Avenue or all these other jam places. We're trying to lead the by example, being very safe.
I'm putting it in my calendar right now.
Hey, well, you'll see it super blasted absolutely everywhere on.
And
on
where do I?
social media.
If I'm not familiar with Houston Millenniums. Of course, I can go to Facebook.com on Instagram, type Houston Millenniums. But where do I get tickets? They're paid tickets. They're free tickets.
So for this is gonna be a paid event.
All right.
Because we have to buy a bunch of masks, a lot of hand sanitizers, and the thermostats when people are coming in. We have to make sure we're safe. But you can get these tickets at Eventbrite. The Eventbrite will be connected with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I mean, absolutely everywhere. We're not charging the charge is for you to come into a private group of super professional individuals that are just going to have a good time. We will have We make our drinks. We name our drinks. There's the Netflix and chill. There's the First Lady, and there's another one that's pretty funny.
Try to have non-alcoholic Heineken. I don't drink. So
Oh, yeah, okay.
Zero alcohol.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yes.
that's something I have to follow.
It's
It's
a new trend.
It's a new trend. I
Yes.
probably have to start that, but come see us. This is a badass event.
It is a badass event.
It's just professionals. You'll be with elected officials. I'm bringing a couple of millionaires in there. I'm sure more millionaires will come up. There we had local celebrities come before to our events. So again, just come out, shake some hands, and kiss some babies. And network with people that have the same vision as you. What you had to the younger populations in common in high schools, you had the same zip code. In college, you have the same mindset. When you go to our networking events, you have the entire already a persona that wants to succeed and wants to see other people succeed. So come out there and share the wealth.
And we will see you on Thursday, 28th, on the Hilton roof between 6 to 8 p.m. Always stays a little later, so book it up to 10 p.m. And you can go to eBrite, put Houston Millennials, and the event will pop up there. Once again, today we are with Ivan Sanchez, president of Houston Millennials, commercial investor and lender for Gold Quest Group. You can find him at 281-405-1427, Golden Quest Group. And of course, follow us on Facebook at fb.com/Success Upturn. Call me at 713-530-2455 for a preview interview, and download our Success Upturn podcast at Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Thank you so much, Ivan.
Thank you so much, Alfonso. And again, turn up, success, upturn, I mean.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
See you all at the very top. Thank you. God bless.
We are all chasing something greater. It's not quantifiable. It's not ubiquitous. It's not the same for every person. It's success. And the cold, hard truth is, only some people have it in them to succeed. Do you? Well, what is success? The answer is, What Success Upturn? And we're bringing all the inspiration of What Success Upturn to you from those who have pushed relentlessly against all odds, beaten the competition, and won. Success Upturn reveals the other side of winning, the grueling long nights that end in failure, forcing you to get back up again. The sacrifices of family, friends, and faith, resulting in tears, rejection, and loss. We take an intense look at the financial stress following your own path can cause, and the do-or-die defining moments where those who don't have it in them give up, and those that do break through and enter a level of success where their faith, their family, and their quality of life is what they dreamed it would be, and more. In the end, it's your spirit that has the willpower and energy needed to break through the pain of brain-racking work, and it's your spirit that's rejuvenated and rewarded the moment your success comes rolling in. If you want to share your story and share your Success Upturn history, go online to successupturn.com or call 713-530-2455 to be part of the Success Upturn podcast today.